G'day there guys, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. This is just a bit of a trial video to see if I've actually got my audio problem sorted out. I spent a fair bit of time on Mr. Google yesterday and I'm glad that I did. There's a control feature in the camcorder that I just hadn't heard of before, AGC auto gain control. So I've been turning the volume down, and as soon as I turn the camcorder on, it turns the bloody volume back up again. And it's a program that sort of averages the audio so that you don't get voice outs and you don't get audio dropping away. But I think it's a bastard, so I've turned it off, and hopefully it's come good. I've made a couple of test shots in the office and so far it seemed okay. In the last week I've had a few things happen. I've got a new milling chuck body coming from M&G Productions. I had hoped it'd be here by now, but it may still get here in the post today. Big shout out, a firm called Northside Fasters. Whatever you need that is weird, these guys are good. I try not to give them too small an order because that's embarrassing for me, but I wanted some 1032 by 3/4 screws, button head in hex drive. They had 5/8 and 1 inch on the shelf, and the boss said no problems, I'll order them from Sydney and get them airbag straight to you. So I got 100 screws, 200 stainless steel nuts, airbag, and it's under $50 delivered. And I don't mind paying $15 for the airbag. It would have cost more than that for me to drive to Norton and back. So that bit's done. I've been trying to avoid taking the frames off the mill for as long as possible. I wanted to get the frames built, but I need the mill to build parts for the frame. So today I'll lift the frames back down again, put the rotary table and the vise up and get a bit of work done there. I may get some video of that, and I will show you a very sketchy setup in the lathe that I've been using to taper turn that drag beam. And luckily I only did one end because I have to drill a hole in the middle of it before I proceed any further. Okay, I'll swing you around to the lathe. You can have a laugh at my expense, and then I'll get this up on the net, see if the audio is any good. Bye for now. Oh, and if you're a new viewer, please like and subscribe. I need the watch hours. There's always more than one way to skin the old cat. This is a very dodgy setup I use to taper the drag beam for the brakes, and that's where the hole has to go before I taper the other side. I've got it up between centres. Yes, I have a large dead centre up inside the lathe chuck, and the reason I'm doing it this way, as I said in the previous video, I'm just not up to lifting these chucks on and off, and my bloody engine crane won't get in here, which is a bit of a shame. That's one of the reasons I built it. But yeah, set up 3 degrees on the top slide, and it just tapers it out quite well. You can only take a few thou at a time because it does clatter, and being a very thin beam, it's got quite a lot of flex, but as long as I stand out of the way I don't get hit. Okay, bring it back probably tomorrow or the day after when I'm working on the milling machine, but I'll get this up just to publish the audio. Bye for now. G'day guys, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Too hot to stay in the bloody house today, and I've been sitting on my ass for hours trying to get new programs sorted out. I hope the audio is good now. I have a new video editing program lined up. I have a new page building program lined up, and I found out that I've got an Office 365 account, but I didn't get a copy of Publisher, and I don't know why Microsoft holds back, but I said to them, hey, it's supposed to be included, and they said download it, so I did. My whole writing and editing is being changed. I went to a different package to try and upload my next magazine for a trial. Instead of having to fight with my existing program for about 4 hours, it was done in about 30 seconds. Flipbook completed. I'm quite happy with that. Anyway, today it's just a show and tell. I've made another purchase from M&G Productions down in Victoria, and these guys are good. Free to store, took about 4 days to get here. $145 for the full package, and you won't believe this. 3 Morse taper, ER32 chuck with a nut, and it's polished like mad. It's like a piece of jewellery. It's fantastic fitting. After I finish here, I'm going to throw it up in the tool and cutter grinder probably tomorrow with the collet and a bit of tool steel like I did the chuck I did have in the borer, and see what sort of run out I can get. I'm expecting about 2/10 of a thou, but it really does look the part. A couple of flats to hold it on the back, drawbar thread, everything looks neat, so that'll be out of the wrapping shortly. Something I've never had, and now that I'm doing smaller work, it's something I've always wanted, and that's a little toolmaker's bench block. I always find myself holding things in the vise awkwardly, trying to drive in bloody dowel pins or roll pins. Once again, really well finished. Quite a nice size for the smaller work. So if you need something to hold items down, to put circlips in, etc., good range of holes, I'm happy with that. Again, they don't disappoint me, this crowd. Fall down, you bastard. I have one of these already, but it's a little bit old and sad. This is a DTI holder for in the mill. Good little clamp. It's got a plastic tip so it doesn't damage the workpiece at all. Looks like all standard fittings, bit of a slide on the arm. $15. Now that's what I call a bloody bargain. A nice bit of tooling, it's all blacked. So yeah, very happy with that. Now, mind you, that was $35. $15 for that indicator holder. And this is the main one. Ever since I've had my workshop, I've only had one of those multi-tip live centres, and it's a POS. The run out isn't really fabulous on it. So I didn't go too big. I got a 3 Morse taper live centre, but this time I got one with an extended centre. The horrible tool holders I've got are forever banging up against the body of the centre, and I can't make a nice start to the cut. Once again, well preserved. Yep, it turns. Nice big bearing area, good large centre area. I'm really pleased with that. I think that was about $68, but the whole lot came to $145 delivered. You can't get better than that in my opinion. Okay, I'll turn you off for now. Don't forget M&G Productions, and I'll put that collet chuck up on the workhead on the tool and cutter grinder and just see how much run out there is, if there's any. Bye for now. G'day guys, back again. I've set this new milling chuck up in the tool and cutter grinder workhead, and I hope you can see the needle. Now this is reading tenths of a millimetre, hundredth of a millimetre. But I'd say I've got a total run out of about 1.5 hundredths of a mil. Now that doesn't surprise me because the inside of the workhead hasn't been cleaned for 20 years. I've just given it a wipe out with a bit of trichlor, and I think it came a little bit better. But I had 6 thou there on the other chuck, and even if I move out to the tool bit, which will, I hope, still keep in focus. Yep. And that's showing about 2.5 thou, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's just amplified because it's further out, but it's substantially better than the last arbour. But what I'll have to do is clean up the chuck a bit better, and I'll check inside the end of the body to see what sort of run out I got there, because I might just be measuring if the collet's a little bit worn. Nice shiny bit of kit, isn't it? Okay, back as soon as I can. G'day there guys, back on the workhead for the TNC grinder. I wasn't satisfied with the reading I got with that collet chuck, simply because after I turned the camcorder off, I gave it another try and it came into less than 1/100 of a mil. So there's something a little bit inconsistent. I put the number 1 test gauge up inside and came out with a bit of crud, and up the back I can feel a little bit of yuck, and it looks very, very much like they've only reamed it for about half the depth and the back is just rough machined. So reaching into my glory box, I came out with a 3 Morse taper finishing reamer that I bought to rejuvenate the quill on the first milling machine I had. And I'll shoot a little bit of light oil up there in case it's going to induce a little bit of chatter. And we'll just see what we can induce out of there. It is chattering a little bit. Before I do any more damage, I'll have a goosey up in there. I want to be a little bit easier on the reamer too, because it could be a fairly hard shaft. Change glasses. It's doing a little bit of work. I don't like the way it feels, and I'm not going to persist too long. I'll just give it another couple of turns. I don't think it was reamed out of the factory. It looks very, very much like it's just had a rough machining operation and left it at that. That feels a little bit better. Thank God the ream is still good. I don't know how it was finished, but if I look up the spout, there's 2 rings about 1 inch in and ½ an inch apart, and it's just cutting on those 2 rings, so it definitely could not be ground or reamed. It's just been machined out and left at that. So I'll get the new chuck and we'll check it for fit, see what it's like. Back in a sec. Okay, it's difficult to get you any closer for a better view. But here's the parody of it. The internal bore is not machined correctly. Well, it was machined but never even reamed or ground. And yet the TIR reading is less than 1/100 of a millimetre. I find that to be bloody astounding. Okay, take it back out again. Okay, back again. And the problem is well and truly solved. It was just poo up inside the Morse taper bore, and I'll be honest, I bought this 2006, maybe earlier, and it's had absolutely no maintenance. Now I've put the milling chuck back in, and you'll have to believe me, I can't light it any better. There's less than 1/100 of a millimetre run out on the body now, so I'm happy the body's concentric with the Morse taper bore, so everything should be good. Bit of a surprise, if I push on the body sideways, I get just under 1/100 of a millimetre total run out. So it's still a nice and tight head. It turns beautifully, you can't feel any resistance in there, and the mounting bolt for my overhead indexer is actually the oiling hole for the spindle, so I'll give it a good belly full of oil, put it back together, and I can continue grinding annular cutters. That one collet's been in there for 18 or 20 years, whatever, and I know I have a new one around here somewhere, so if I find a new one I'll install it. There's no need to wait for a rainy day to do that. I'm bloody 70. Okay guys, that's the first job for today done. Let's move on to the next. Well guys, the Aussie day long weekend is not getting away to a hell of a good start. I didn't want to move the frames and then put them straight back up again, but forced to do it, I had to do a little bit of milling. Luckily the old sky hook was still in the vise from when I took it off several months ago, and that sky hook really comes in handy for taking the chucks on and off the lathe. And I just realised now I may be able to sneak the crane in from this end around the back of the lathe. I was measuring the lathe including the width of the switch box, which is a little bit wrong, but while pulling the crane away, being as careful as I could, the Jed whacked the hand wheel on the front for the auto feed, and being the best bit of engineered crap I've seen in most of my life, just a little knurled power feed on and off, and I think it's a 3mm thread goes into the end of the shaft. It's got a circlip groove right after it. Oh bloody hell, when they come out of Taiwan like that, I'm really surprised. I'm also surprised the POS that was living in there just screwed out. Bit of a lick with the scriber, wound it round and it came out, so I'm going to be milling that off, drilling it out, tap it, put a screw in, cut the screw off and screw that back in. Bloody hell. You don't mind seeing a little bit of piss poor manufacturing, but not when you pay thousands of dollars for the machine. Like this machine new today would be worth $35,000 I suppose, and you still have the same shit with different flies. Okay, I'll get on with the job. I'll tram the vise in now, none of which you want to see. I have a lathe chuck arbour to do some work on, and parts for the loco to mill. Okay, bring you back when I'm ready. At last I've got something coming off the saw. Bit of hydraulic rod, bit of an expensive item to make some material out of, but it's all I've got in rod. The drawing calls up for 1 inch by 3/4. No such thing in the shed, so I'll make it up in the milling machine and put the back on it. At least I've got the metal beam. Excellent. G'day guys. One thing I really came to appreciate when I first got this mill is the quick change of tooling. Before this I had a old Victoria mill 4-morse taper, and it was a bugger of a thing for getting tight on the quill, and you have to fight it to get things out. But I did learn quickly not to tighten these tools up. You heave on the drawbar and you'll never ever get the bloody thing out. I was surprised to see with Graham's Huron mill, it's a big Brutus of a thing, it's twice the weight of this thing, and very solidly built, and it's still using BT40 tooling. I thought it would have been 50, but the manufacturer knows the capacity of the machine. Okay. One day I will make a power adapter if this need. It was never a chore before I got old. Right now, this bit of steel is 45mm diameter, and we want to get it down to 25mm. So we're taking 10mm off either side, and I'll try and keep myself out of the spotlight, so to speak. I don't want to get showered in shite. Okay, I'll take the first cut. Let's see if she likes that. This hydraulic bar is pretty tough stuff. Those chips are coming off blue. It'll also be good to see if the editing software can take this machine noise out of the video. I think I need to whack that down a little bit more. This material does give a nice finish though. Yeah, that's a little bit more like home. Okay, give it another run. That is tough stuff. Just as a funny aside, I had the grandkids here a couple of weeks ago, and I gave them plenty of magnets about 3 or 4 months ago as a present, a few industrial magnets as well, and a little sample of some iron filings. And when they came here to stay, the first thing they saw was the power hexa when they come through the door, and they begged for a plastic bag so they can take a whole lot of iron filings home. I wonder what mess is in their bloody carpet. I'm going to have to be careful. These filings are coming off hot enough to set things alight. And I've got a few rags and a bale of bloody cane chaff here for mulch. So what I'll do now is I'll measure the thickness of it, see what I've got to do to take it down to a final cut, and then turn it over, flatten the other side, and then I'll put one of the cut sides up against the fixed jaw, and I'll finish up with my rectangular piece of material fairly quickly. There's going to be a little bit of fun rotary table work in this project as well. Okay, I won't bore you. I'll bring you back when it gets fizzy again. Well, g'day guys. It's now Monday and about an hour further into the job, and I've reduced that bit of 1 3/4 round, I think it's 4140 or something like it, to a bit of 1 by 3/4 by 2.5, which is going to be the brake lever. Now to deburr it, paint it pretty blue, put 2 centre pops and draw the circles, and we'll drill 2 11/16 holes in it and up on the rotary table to make the rounded ends. All in all, a reasonable day. I did notice part way through the milling, and I see this asked quite a bit on YouTube, is my milling spindle crook. It clatters when I mill. Well, this old girl started to squawk a bit, and I thought, bloody hell, I haven't lubed it for some time now. So there's one point here, two on the other side with the oil cups, that's for the spindle and the gears, but there's two places that are frequently missed and they can give you a difficulty and noise. There should be one or two drops in the slide to get you a back gear range, keep this nice and free, and around the drawbar I give it a reasonable squirt, and that dribbles down around the outside of the drive spline that goes into the quill, and hey presto, the noise went away. So treat the machines nicely and they'll do the same for you. So I'll now deburr it, put a bit of paint on, draw up the lines, and we'll drill some holes. Back soon. Well, this will be the best fall-on sword yet. I'll give you all a good giggle. I'm looking around to find my dividers to start marking out, and I see a box of parts over on the back of the bench. And this is what happens when you have 4 or 5 years lag in between episodes on the locomotive. It's only now that I'm retired I'm getting some good time on it. But I just found a box full of all of the bits I've just made yesterday. I can't believe it. They actually look better made than what I've done yesterday. Now, I don't know whether I made them or whether I bought them. There are quite a lot of parts get interchanged between different clubs and different blokes when projects are abandoned, etc. But I know of a bloke out of Crow's Nest, I think, who's starting to build a Sweet Williams. I'll give him an email, see if he needs a few bits that are fairly well on the way for the brake gear. And I've learnt my lesson. I'm getting a red pen. I'm going to tick off every bloody thing I've already built so I don't build the damn thing again. Oh well, give you something to laugh at. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll try and get something else out today. And I'll put this through the new video editing program and see if there can any noise I can write out. So have a laugh at me, and you may get some more content after lunch. Bye. Back again, guys. I'm going to wrap it up for this video. I've got myself all cranky, but also I haven't got the materials list ready or any of the cutouts done for the next step, which is the reverser stand bracket and a few little links down the bottom. I've made a list. This is what I should do whenever I work. You can't have a job without a job sheet. But I've put down a brake pull rod, some pins, brake hangers, brake blocks. So yeah, quite a few bits there. The upper spring caps, and they're supposed to have 8 OBA threads. Bullshit, it'll be 6mm, and the reverser stand. So I'm going to get all the strips and plates ready for that. I've got a bit of a giveaway for those that have hung in till the end. I've got an enormous library. I just can't read all of it again and again. There's too much there. So I'll start off with, and I'll prefer this to go to the home of somebody just starting out, or someone who is actually going to use it. I don't want this just to accumulate on a shelf or get stuck up on eBay for $5 or whatever. So please, someone who can use them. This is a old Norton Abrasives manual on cutting off. Absolutely fabulous book, I'd say, from the 70s. A lot of good basic information in there. And abrasives are just not grinding and cutting wheels, as I said in an earlier video about cutting off wheels. There's a lot of science behind them, and if you read a good book like this, it'll really set you up for life to know how to do abrasive machining. And here's a prize, originally written in 1919, last edited in 1941, Machine Tool Operation by Henry D. Burkhart. It's an American series. I've got part 1 and part 2. I don't know if there was any further series than that. Part 1 is Lathe, Bench and Forge, and part 2 is Drilling, Planing, Milling and Grinding. Now, a very good foundation for machinists, and to be honest, probably a very good book to recoup if you're a practicing machinist. I went back and read quite a lot and relearnt some of the things I'd forgotten from long ago. The old heads don't retain it too long. If you have a genuine use, get in contact with me with a message and I'll post them out to you. Please not from overseas, I'm not that bloody wealthy. So I hope Australian long weekend has been good for you. Like and subscribe please, and all the best for the next week. I'll come back with some more machining in a few days.